What's up, family? Antoine here, and I'm glad to be back with you on this week. If you recall, on last week, we talked about Are You Out of Your Mind? And we looked at the verse, Mark chapter 5, verse 15, where the Bible says, They came to Jesus and saw the demon possessed man sitting there, clothed and in his right mind, the one who had the legion, and they were afraid. I really want to pick back up from where I left off on last week. If you looked at the episode, you know that the man was in a precarious predicament. That the Bible tells us that he was unclothed, that he was uncontrolled, he was self-isolating, and he was self-harming. Now, I don't have time to break those down again and recap, so go back and look at the episode from last week. But where I want to pick up this week is that the man's situation and circumstance was so perplexed that the only thing that could make it better was he had to be in the presence of Jesus. And listen, there comes a time that you might find yourself in a situation in life where whose name is in your contact list doesn't matter, who you can reach out to and get a hold to as quick as possible doesn't matter, your pedigree and your degrees doesn't matter, but what matters is that you have an encounter with Jesus. And this is what the man did. He had an encounter with Jesus, and Jesus totally and radically reformed his life. The Bible says that this man who was recently unclothed is now clothed. In other words, his decency had been restored. Jesus, once he encountered this man, he began to reform him and transform him from the inside out. Now, not only is he clothed now, but now he's controlled. The man who was once out of control is now in control. He's back behind the driver's seat, if you will allow me to say. He's no longer driven by these unclean spirits. He's no longer pulled to and fro by these spirits, but now he's able to control. He's able to resist. He's able to stand firm on his morals and on his ideas. He's no longer controlled by these spirits, because he's encountered Jesus. But not only has he regained control, but this man is described as sitting and in his right mind. He's sitting and he's settled. In other words, Jesus has now restored this man in such a way that he's able to exist and function within the confines of community again. He's totally been restored. And this is what happens when you encounter Jesus. But there are some parallels that I see in the text, and I just want to drop them real quick. Here there are parallels between the spirits, and there are parallels between the people in the town. Here's what happened. Immediately after Jesus stepped foot out the boat, this man who's possessed by unclean spirits finds himself positioned right before Jesus. And as he's positioned there, here's what happens. The Bible says that the spirits immediately recognize who Jesus is. In other words, here's my first parallel that I see. The spirits are spiritually aware of who Jesus is, while the people in the town are spiritually unaware. Not only are they spiritually aware, but the Bible shows us that these spirits, they have this way of bowing down before Jesus in essence to beg and plead before him. They give Jesus reverence, but the people are irreverent. Not only are the spirits reverent and the people are irreverent, here's what the Bible says. The spirits request mercy. In other words, they say, Jesus, don't punish us before our time. Don't persecute us before our time. Allow us to go over into these swine here. They request mercy, but the people reject Jesus and they send him away. They reject his mercy. And so this is what this teaches me. How you see is affected by who you serve. In other words, these people are so controlled by these unclean spirits. Now, not only is this person possessed, but this region is possessed. And because they have rule and reign over this region, these people are unable to see and discern the presence of Jesus and their need for it. When you are in service to the unclean spirits of this world, when you are in service to a spirit that is not ordained and sent by God, it has a way of blinding you. So who you are in service to affects how you see. If you want to be in your right mind, here's my admonishment to you. Make sure you have an encounter with Jesus. Make sure you know who he is. Make sure you've been in his presence. Make sure he's been able to radically reform you from the inside out. That's how you know if you are in your right mind. Well, until next time, family, go in peace. I love you.